I would not be in this business if not for our guest today on Real Estate Renegades, the great man, John McGrath. John has spoken for me at many events. He literally was the inspiration for me when I was early in my career. And frankly, what I mean early in my career, now I'm later in my career, he's still my inspiration. Strap in, guys. This is John McGrath. You want the normal real estate training you've been told a million times? Make cold calls, knock on doors. Best be switching off now, because in this podcast, we go out of the box using unknown tactics, primarily, that the real estate industry's never heard of, in order to get you called in more often, convert those listings, and get more success without the painful cold calling. Listen up, we're in for a ride. This is Real Estate Renegades. Folks, we are here with an industry icon who needs absolutely no introduction. And in fact, whenever I've done stuff with John, he says, no introductions, Glenn, no introductions. Just say, here's John McGrath. But mate, your success is well deserved, mate. There's been speaker after speaker in that room using you as an example of a thought leader, someone who looks forward into the industry, not backwards, what's going to happen in the future and all that. So mate, I just want to say personally, this event wouldn't have happened without my association with you, mate.
Well,
so thank you so much.
I'm delighted to play a small role, Glenn, but I mean, you and I both know, you gave me a call and you said, I really want to do this, and it's a long shot, and I don't know if we can afford it, and it might send me broke, and you've done it, and you've afforded it, and you've got a great crowd here, so congratulations.
Thanks, mate. I'll tell you, and John is the owner of Australia's leading real estate training in ARIC. You've been there and you've seen this and done this countless times with Donald Trump and industry icons, you know, and out of business icons. Do you ever get numb to kind of the big stage?
Look, as a speaker, I get nervous before I go on every time, and I think that's healthy nervousness, because my view is, it's a bit like when I sell a house. It's not to sell a house, my goal is to get a premium and create a raving fan. When I put on an event or give a speech, Glenn, what I'm about is giving the best speech I've ever given, so I'm nervous about whether I can deliver that, so I keep getting better and better. So for me, it's not about turning up, going through the motions. Even though I will probably present material that I've presented 100 times, 1,000 times today, some of it, and I'm always refreshing it. But for me, I've spent probably 2.5 hours getting ready for this, because I want it to be top of mind and fresh, and I want to know what insights can I deliver this audience today, which is an important audience. Anyone that'll spend a few $100s or maybe even a couple of thousand, but more importantly a couple of days of their life, to sit in a room and get better, they deserve the best from every speaker. So if I'm honoured to be here, so thank you, and I won't be letting you down intentionally, put it that way.
But I tell you, the first call I made was to our mutual friend Matt Steinway, panicking, and then I called you.
I was number 2 after Steinway.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know, mate, I hope that's not an insult.
I'm delighted. He's as good as it gets in Australia.
Yeah, but it truly was. And let's talk to that about, because this isn't about me and you. This is about these guys out here who maybe couldn't be there. But let's talk to the vision.
They got to get in next time round.
Yeah, they do have to get in.
Because I say that tongue-in-cheek, but realistically.
Absolutely.
You've got to get to the event that can change your life. This is an event that should change. It will definitely change a number of people's lives. It could change everyone's life. Yep. The people that didn't get to the event, it won't change their life. So when the opportunity comes up again, where there's a lineup of amazing speakers, I don't care if you have to travel 6 hours or travel 6 minutes. You've got to be there to give yourself a chance. I've spent half my life listening to podcasts, watching YouTube interviews in the old days, well before you were born, watching video cassettes, watching Tom Hopkins.
I got him,
Wayne
mate.
Dyer.
Yeah.
Late Wayne
I know,
Dyer,
the late Wayne Dyer, R.I.P.
Can't quite believe that. I mean, as you know, he was due to speak at ARIC, and
Absolutely.
he got ill on the day of the speech.
I know,
Yeah, he was a life changer. I mean, I
absolutely.
listened to him regularly. In fact, I was listening to him this morning, yesterday morning, and what people say. I mean, one of the fastest ways to get to the top of your industry, top of your game, is to hack into great people in terms of work out what do they do, what do they say, how do they think, and learn from that. That doesn't mean become them, because authenticity and individuality is a critical skill, and no one wants to deal with a robot.
Yeah.
But you can learn. You learn a bit from Bob Boland, you learn a lot from Matt Steinway, you learn a bit from Adrian Bowe, you learn a lot from Glenn Twiddle, and you just pick the best of it, and you say, okay, that was a great approach, that's a great system, that's a great piece of technology, that's a great piece of dialogue, that's a great time management plan. whatever you get, bring them in, work out what works for you, and then just do it. And events like this is like candy store stuff. Kid in the candy store.
Yeah.
You know, you want to really be on fire. You go and watch a dozen or what, you have 20 speakers?
Yeah. And they're all, it was my wish list, mate. I started at you and Matt.
Yeah.
I said, now who else would I dream of having? James Tosterman. Yeah. Marcus Kiminella. I just went through the list and, fucking me, they all said yes. Becklin Richards.
You got to come here.
Yeah.
You got to come next time.
And similarly, mate, Arik has changed so many lives.
Yeah.
You've had the world's best.
Including
Yes,
mine.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree 1,000%. Let's talk to one of those principles that I've instigated, learned from blokes like yourself about setting a vision and making that real. What's the important stuff that we might have learned from Dr. Fred, those sorts of guys, about setting goals and then what we do daily to need to achieve those goals? I know it's a big topic, but
it's a great topic. I think in summation, Glenn, to get somewhere, you've got to know where you're going. Kind of sounds obvious, but a lot of people go through life. It's like running in the fog. They're kind of running, busy, running, and they occasionally look up, oh, it's the 1st of January, how'd the year go, it's gone, next one started, and they get too busy. So you've got to actually design how you want your life to be lived. What do you want to achieve? Do you want to earn $1 million? Good. You want to earn 100,000? It's done. You want to earn 3 million? It's just a matter of doing what you have to do. So you design that. And then, there's an old saying, and I don't remember who said it, but you and I have followed sort of great speakers for many years, and it was most people shrink their dreams to match their budget. So it means that a lot of people, they've been knocked back. We've all been knocked back. We've all got bruises. If you took off the shirts and the jackets and that, please don't, because you and I, we're no male models. But there are scars and bruises and things that didn't go right, and rejection after rejection after rejection. But all those rejections, all those no's, they're on the path to yes. And at the end of the day, I say to people, look, if you want to be best on planet, in this country, you've got to start by selling 100 properties. You've got to be doing 8, 9 a month. If you're doing that, you're actually in the game. You're on the way to becoming the next James Tosterman, the next Ben Collier, the next Becklin Richards. But you've got to be doing that sort of number. To do that sort of number, you're going to have to be rejected half a dozen, maybe 2 dozen times a month by buyers, by sellers, by people. You say, Glenn, I'd love to list your home, and I understand you think of selling. You say, great, John, thanks for contacting me, but my brother-in-law's in real estate. He does a great job. I'm going to sign with him, but I appreciate your interest. Okay, well, that's a great contact. You've now made contact, and maybe, you still might get the business, you might get a conjunction, or you've just made a connection. So that's another no, only another 50 to go this month, and I've kind of reached my quota for success. But I'm going to talk today, because maybe the listeners don't know, but I haven't been on yet, so I'm going to be on today, and I'm going to be talking a lot about fearlessness. You have to be prepared to face the dragon and march on, because success is about going through that pain barrier. And one of the phrases that Shane Smolin uses a lot, and he's one of our principals and one of the great real estate strategists, as you know, and a beautiful guy too. Shane talks about you've got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And most people don't get comfortable with being uncomfortable. They want to have kind of all the, the quaff this and the quaff that and the perfect, kind of Hollywood smile. And yet when it comes time to face the dragon and ask for the business, they go to water. They kind of run away. And you just got to be prepared to do that. You've got to be prepared to be embarrassed and rejected and put down and have a bad night's sleep and all of that. But it's all character building. It's the things, you and I look back on our lives and, fantastic. We've had great lives thus far with many years to come. But you think about the tough times, and there were dark nights when you lay there at night and you're thinking, God, can I afford to put that event on? Will I keep my job in sales? Whatever it was for us all, we've all had those dark times. And that's why you come to these events, because one is they reignite your passion often. So if you're one of those people that shrunk your dreams to match your budget, that'll reignite your passion. Second thing, you're going to get tools, and you're going to see someone like Sir Richard Branson, who, amazing. You've got him here. It's just amazing.
I'm still picturing myself, man. You know what? I still think, though, I spoke to his people now and all that. I still may be the victim of an elaborate Nigerian hoax. You know what I'm saying?
May not turn up.
Well, no, just that I don't know that it's Sir Richard. You go for 2 hours.
That's all right.
But what I'm saying there in jest is, this is a
saying.
Dream come true. This guy's the world's best. So.
And you took the risk, and the likelihood is he would have said no, or he'd have given you a quote which was a figure that you couldn't even conceive paying and whatever. But you went through those barriers, and you got to a point where you and I are here in the room, and he's about to walk on stage. It's pretty cool.
A couple of minutes from now.
So I think that's it. But you've got to get to the events. You've got to be fearless. You've got to have clarity. Keep it simple, though. I mean, if someone hadn't been in the real estate industry and they arrived at your event and they sat here for 2 days with a notebook and an open mind, and then they went back and planned it, and actually practiced it, they would be in one of the top 1% of agents within 12 months from a zero start.
Correct.
So that's the reality of coming to these events. So well done for putting it on.
Mate, I've already had some people in that audience who are about to get into real estate. They're not in there yet. And you should see the look in their eye. I mean, if they can sustain that look and they go, wow, I didn't know certain things. I tell you, I
if you've been in the game
surprised.
10 years and successful or moderately successful, they're the people that are chasing after you.
Yeah.
So you've got to keep reinventing. I've been doing this 32 years and I try and reinvent every week, certainly every month. You've got to keep reinventing new ideas, new thinking. Read what books are you reading, what people are you meeting. A guy called Fred Smith that you might have heard of, he started Federal Express, FedEx.
Yep.
And he's a multi-billionaire now, as you can imagine. And I was reading, and I can't remember who I was reading it through, but one of the great speakers, it might have been Robbins or someone, they were saying that they met Fred Smith, and they were in awe because, this is a guy, one of the world's great, like Sir Richard, one of the great. And he said with him in a few minutes, he basically said, so Glenn, tell me, who's the most interesting person you've met in the last 90 days? And when you tell me he is, I'd like you to connect me with them. And he was thinking, wow, like, this is a secret of success. Success leaves clues. Here's a guy who's a multi-billionaire that wants to know the most interesting person I've met in the last 3 months, and could they make an introduction? I mean, that speaks.
What a golden question. Yeah, I might say that one for Sir Richard in a few minutes.
Very good.
What if he'll say John McGrath?
So if you could pinch his black book, wouldn't you have a list of interesting people?
Incredible, absolutely. Well, you know what? It was my son in this very room that asked that of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Who have you travelled? Where have you travelled? Where have you not travelled? And who have you met? And him and Arnold, my 11-year-old son, with Arnold Schwarzenegger, had a dialogue right there for like 5 minutes. And some of the stories Arnold was telling about who he's met, Gorbachev, and all these amazing human beings. I was in tears. Very quietly, I wasn't sobbing, but I had a tear run down my cheek as I saw my childhood hero, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
So you're giving him the greatest gift. Some people give their kids BMWs for their 21st birthday. You're giving your son the gift of inspiration, and you're exposing him to greatness. So he will grow up like Packers and Murdochs would have grown up, thinking and knowing that anything's possible and the world is theirs, and you're giving him that gift. So, I mean, that's fantastic. As you're giving these 700 people, so that's cool.
Mate, last thing I wanted to quickly touch on, we had the great man Phil Harris do his thing.
Phil.
He's just the greatest. Phil
I
just
still
got
think
that.
he's nothing about Sarah, though. That's real, isn't it? Like, she does everything.
Absolutely.
Right? Seriously.
Absolutely. Well, a common thread throughout Adrian Bowe and Matt Stein, all those guys, is their teams.
Great team.
Incredible. So those guys
feel
got
so
master
cute
class.
as he does that.
But Phil just got back from Uber. From Uber headquarters.
Right.
Mate, I know
that's right. He went over there with the realestate.com.
He went over there and he's at Uber headquarters, Google headquarters. Mate, he saw the best on the planet in today's market do their thing. What's your take, a quick version of it? And I know this conference is a little bit with Sir Richard on what Virgin would do if they started playing in our game. And if they did, we should, we should tremble a little bit because they would play hard in the new economy.
Well, they play innovatively.
Absolutely.
Which is the key. A lot of people, and I don't even know what the question is yet, but a lot of people... they just kind of, it's the same old, same old. So the question is, why I say try and reinvent myself weekly or monthly is, what is your business doing differently to what it did a year ago or 5 years ago? The answer to a lot of people is not much.
That's right.
Oh, now we've got stuff on the internet. Well, guess what, dude? So does every other Australian real estate agent. So what are you doing differently? So it's a matter of, that point of difference. And I think that's where Sir Richard has been so brilliant. I've no doubt he's incredibly smart and all the rest, but he's been prepared to take risks. And he understands how to create interest in his brand, and he understands how to create energy in his brand, and that's what it's about. So, whether you're at the event or not, what are you doing to create interest and energy in your brand?
And I suppose the question is partially answered by what you're saying is real estate is there anything to fear from like taxi industry that weren't terribly well customer service focused? Almost like the incumbent players, the taxi drivers, didn't even see it coming. This customer service focused and innovative thing come in and take out their industry.
Well, they got lazy, didn't they?
Yeah. Are we as an industry
probably
potentially?
Well, I think we're probably lazy. I think we, by mere fact, we haven't reinvented ourselves sufficiently and a recurring number of times. You got to remember though, Uber hasn't replaced taxis. It's just allowed people to connect with drivers. Now, whether the drivers are taxi drivers or people who've got a Saab at home that want to do a few days' work, realestate.com in a sense is like Uber in terms of it's a great connector with the customer, with the opportunity, but You still need someone to drive the cars. Still need someone to show the property, negotiate, and give you advice. So, realestate.com can't come to your house, and neither can domain.com.au.
Right.
They can't come to your house and say, Glenn, I think we should move that. It's a little bit over furnished. What I do, I think we should open it from 10 till 11 because the sun's coming in here, and the sort of buyers are going to be these sort of people, and the sort of music that I think we should have on during the opens would be this type of music. And here's the marketing plan, and I think we need to invest. You can research on the internet. So I don't think the internet is a disintermediator. I think the internet is an enabler. And people that get scared about Domain and Fairfax, I say no need. I mean, these are your friends. What you've got to be scared about is poor service levels. I think what's happening is the pie is about the same size. It gets incrementally bigger each year as population grows and more houses get built, but it's roughly the same size. The slices of the pie, the agents that get it and create raving fans and leverage technology and build brilliant teams around them, like the people we've just spoken about, their piece of the pie is getting bigger. The only place it can come from is those people that aren't doing all those things.
Yeah.
So I get frustrated when people come to me and say, oh, you're scared about, the internet, this. No, I said, no, I'm not scared, but I said the industry should only be scared about poor service standards and lack of transparency, not about the internet.
Yeah.
Because the internet is your friend if you use it right. If you're not adding value, if buyers are coming along and the best you can do is open the door, take them through and hand them a brochure, that's not value add.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
need to connect, you need to build rapport, you need to create trust, you need to give them wisdom, you need to give them local, hyper-local knowledge, advice. But if you're doing all that, your job is safe and sound. In fact, you're going to eat up the rest of the marketplace.
Yeah.
Same with vendors. Houses won't sell themselves. Now, I'm not naive enough to think that there won't be some sort of technology that replaces some agency practice, but right now there's 5 or 6% of people that sell their home privately anyway. That doesn't stop you from making a fortune, or me from making a fortune in the world of real estate. That's just a reality that there will be some people that say, look, I don't want to use an agent, I can now go to these websites and I can show my own property and so forth. Well, that's okay, but they exist today.
Yep.
Might be a few more of them, so I don't think it's a major issue.
No, great stuff.
But
And
stay paranoid, only the paranoid survive, Glenn.
I just said to Matt Steinway in there, we had a similar conversation, back in the room, very quiet, he's whispering in my ear, I'm whispering in his, and I said, Matty, I reckon if we act as though it's a threat, and it's not, we're going to be the best on the planet
I
at
might
this
talk
game.
about that when I speak this afternoon, because it is a topic, and it is some people losing sleep over it, which they shouldn't be, unless they're in the
those ones.
average service brigade,
Love it.
which people here won't be anyway.
Yeah, love it. And mate, last thing before, mate, I have watched you in one episode in tears on Shark Tank, right, where you're helping entrepreneurs, you're giving advice. You're not just you're being a shark, like they might say, maybe, but you're advising entrepreneurs. You're helping them. Those ladies with the childcare opportunity that you guys. That was the episode that really moved me, mate.
Amazing.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's
show.
It's a great show. It's been a huge success overseas, in America as Shark Tank, and in the UK as Dragon's Den. Similar concept. It's come to Australia, had a good first season, which is fantastic. Other than the fact, I think it is entertaining. I think it's entertaining, and the people that watch that I speak to really like it.
Yep.
Funny, the feedback we got through Channel 10 was either people hadn't heard of it or they loved it.
Yeah.
There weren't a lot of people who said, yeah, I've watched it a few times, didn't grab me.
My 11-year-old, I was just talking about that. He loves it.
Yeah.
He said, "Do you know John McGrath?"
That's a surprising thing, is a lot of kids really loved it. Wow. So I think the good thing, when you can find, and MasterChef was a great example of this, The Block was a great example, when you can find a show that entertains, because we all want to be entertained, and at the end of a long day, people want to kind of sit and watch something and have a laugh or whatever, but also educates and informs.
Yeah.
When education and entertainment come together, that's because you get 11-year-olds watching it, and whether they're taking notes or just mentally thinking, God, okay, when I grow up, I want to have a store, I want to own a real estate company or whatever, that's inspiring. And Australia needs to be inspired, because this is a great country at risk of being a less great country, because I think we've developed quite a cynical, negative attitude as a culture. You hear that politicians who are meant to be role models, all they do is go at each other. They don't give us vision. They don't give us all great things. They're not creating an amazing path for us to follow. All they're doing is beating each other up, which is so disappointing.
Yeah.
And then you see, a lot of other negativity around, and when the media is full of negative stories. So what you've really got to do is try and tune into things and listen to things and meet people that do inspire you. And it was great. I mean, the ladies with the childcare centre.
Hey, you bought yourself a few businesses over last year, mate.
Amazing. If that didn't connect with a viewer, I don't know what can. Because we had two young ladies. One was a single mum. Both had autistic kids.
Yep.
and they had a dream of freeing up people that have autistic kids to allow them to live a more normal life and be able to have someone else look after their kids when they go to work and whatever, so then they can love them and look after them after hours.
And we see that in general society, don't we? That, like even you don't ever see any sort of special needs kids in childcare centres. So the service hasn't existed until that company those guys started.
Yeah. That's the amazing thing. I mean, you would have thought that through governments and through other things there would be a whole chain. And when they came on the show and they said that because I said, well, how's your competition go in this space? And they said, the reason we're starting it, there's no competition.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a great thing about what you and I do in business. I mean, business is nice to be able to turn a profit and grow your customer base. But at the end of the day, if you can change people's lives, whether you're a real estate coach or whether you're an investor or whatever you're doing, I mean, changing someone's life is the greatest gift. That's why I love real estate too. That's why I got into it, because first home buyers, you help them get their first home. That's a life-changing experience for them and for you. You're an investor, you help them buy their first investment property. You help a couple going through a difficult time, separation. You help them move to the next space carefully and with certainty and with care and empathy. You change their life versus just being someone that doesn't care. So I think this is what you and I are doing in terms of the training in this industry. It's more important than just helping agents earn more money, because everyone needs a roof over their head. There's not one person in this country that doesn't need one or shouldn't have one, and we know there is a homeless problem as well, which needs to be dealt with at a higher level. But I think certainly this is an industry and a service worth getting right. So,
agreed.
Well done, us.
Mate, well done, mate. We'll go a fist pump there. Thanks, mate. Well, we've been old for that, I think we are. Guys, it's been my honour hanging with John. I know John's not big on the flattery and the praise, mate, but you've truly changed our industry for the better. I did say to several of my colleagues after we watched that episode of Shark Tank where you helped those ladies out, I said if we as an industry were judged by the character of John McGrath, we would have a very different reputation to the marketplace than we currently enjoy. So,
that's a great honour.
So, mate, my pleasure. Mate, thank you for being part of this, mate. Until next time, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Wow. Well, there you go. Hope you liked the episode. If you liked that, then what you need to do is you need to subscribe. You need to get more of this craziness, because we got more are coming. I'm never standing still, and we've got so many more guests. We've got so many more strategies, more out-of-the-box thinking. So if you haven't subscribed, literally, you're like throwing away thousands of dollars. Because I tell you, if you haven't subscribed, you don't come back. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to find you, I'm going to market to you, and I'm going to charge you for the very stuff that on this podcast we give away for free. So whack that subscribe button on whatever your favourite podcast weapon of destruction is, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now.